I'm hanging out with the dreaded Dean and my good friend Adam McDouglies, and tonight we are going to be reviewing another movie, the 1980s classic Cronenberg film, The Fly. And I want to talk a little bit about this real quick. Back in the day, my dad showed me and my brother this movie. It was on TV. It was like one of those late-night horror movie things, and he made it a point to sit down, me and my brother, to watch this because he always thought it was one of those classic, updated horror remakes before the concept of horror remake became so kind of passé like it is today. Right, but back in the day, it was an original idea. You took an old movie, you updated it to contemporary times, and when you got Cronenberg behind the wheel, you know you're going to have an amazing film. So what I remember about this is that Cronenberg was like the first body horror director I've ever seen, and his movies revolted the shit out of me. I mean, they were people mutating in horrible ways, and it was just something that kind of, I don't know, grossed me out as a kid.
Yeah, this is basically the movie that kind of put Cronenberg on the map as a director. I mean, he had done a lot of stuff beforehand, but whenever like you say his name nowadays, like automatically most people I've spoken to, boom, they automatically go to The Fly. So it's kind of.
Well, there you have it, folks. So we're going to cut to the commercial here, and just to save my ass, remember, folks, this is for educational and historical purposes.
And knowing is half the battle.
And when we get back, you'll have all three of our stupid fucking reviews.
All four.
Parker included.
There is a limit, even to the imagination.
Human teleportation, molecular decimation, breakdown, and reformation is inherently purging.
Where our greatest creations meet our deepest fears.
Something went wrong, Seth. When you went through, something went wrong.
You are about to go beyond that limit.
Those weird hairs that were growing out of your back, I had them analyzed. They were definitely not human.
I want to know what's going on. You're afraid to be destroyed and recreated, aren't you?
You're changing, Seth. Everything about you is changing.
What's happening to me? Am I dying? Oh, no.
A fly got into the transmitter pod with me that first time when I was alone.
Don't go back to him. It could be contagious.
I'm afraid!
Don't be afraid.
No. Be afraid. Be very afraid.
Help me. Please, help me.
Starts August 15th at famous players and other selected theaters near you. Check your local newspapers for shows.
All right, guys, we just got done watching The Fly, and you know, it's been a while since I've seen this movie. It's been a couple of years, but this has always been one of my favorite Cronenberg movies, mainly because of the special effects, the acting, the talent in general behind every aspect of this movie is superb. And I have to admit, this is probably one of the most definitive horror movies from my childhood, and I highly recommend it for anyone looking for a grotesque body horror movie from the mid-'80s. And out of 10 stars, I'm gonna have to go there. I'm gonna give this one a 9, and I'm gonna tell you why I don't give it a 10. It's not my favorite Cronenberg movie, and a lot of people might think it's an excellent film, but it only gets 1 star removed just because it's not my favorite Cronenberg film. And outside of that, though, I do believe this to be a mid-'80s masterpiece, so highly recommended.
Yeah, I totally concur with Tom. I mean, watching this film, even though, you know, I saw it a long time ago, it still is viscerally shocking, even, you know, with repeat viewings. I mean, it never loses its impact because it's just, the special effects are amazing. This is, like, as Tom said, the ultimate body, like, metamorphosis movie and all that. And, you know, there's a lot of, you know, romantic, you know, plots, aspects about it too, you know. So it's, I mean, it's a great film to just, you know, to be shocked by and all that. I mean, and in a classic 80s way, it nails it. So if that's what you're looking for, this film is for you.
And out of 10 stars, Adam, What's your star count on this one?
I give it a 9 out of 10, pretty much with Tom, just because it's also, I mean, it's not my favorite Cronenberg movie, but it's one of his best, and it's a great example of just the special effects of the period and just how amazing they were, and they still hold up today. I mean, there's a scene in there where he's he's puking on a donut to dissolve it because he's turning into a human fly, and it's still revolting, it's still disgusting, and it still has that same effect. It doesn't look it doesn't look dated or anything like that. So it still holds up very well today, in my opinion.
Holy fucking shit. That was a brilliant movie, I gotta say. Like, I've never seen it before, which I actually question myself for. Like, really, how did I not see this movie? Like, I've always loved Jeff Goldblum, and fucking Gina Davis is, like, the epitome of, like, 80s hot. So it's like they matched up really well together. I think the main thing about the movie that really sweeps you up is how, like, little bit by little bit he's turning into this fly, where, like, it starts out where, like, he has this romantic thing with Gina Davis, and it just gets more and more disturbing, because, like, he's really into this, into the transfer or whatever. Like, he thinks it makes him so powerful, but he has no idea that it has to do with him, like, fusing with the fly, and it's just like, you see, like, it go from romantic relationship to Gina Davis just being just totally concerned for Jeff Goldblum, and I think that is really the hallmark of the movie, to, like, watch them go from romanticizing to, like, him just being a grotesque fucking monster, basically, and to see her, like, still, like, have feelings for him, even though he's a monster. It's a great movie. Like, I give it an 8 out of 10.
That's a good review, man. Hell yeah.
I want to make one more point, elaborating on what Dean just said. It's almost as if there's a lot of, metaphors in this movie. I mean, there's a metaphor for when he's, first becomes a fly, he's feeling, just like super powerful, and he's feeling great, but he's also kind of a jerk. And it's kind of a metaphor for, like, drug addiction, like being on coke, which of course was a big thing during the 80s. And also going from being very romantic, with the relationship that he has with Gina Davis, to just, being slowly, disintegrating, and then just, the horror of it all. It almost is kind of like they're trying to elaborate on the disintegration of relationships, how they start out great, but then they start to go wrong over time, and they just turn into something terrible. But still, there is those feelings that were originally there. That's why after Seth Brundle metamorphosizes into this hideous fly creature, Gina Davis still has feelings for him. She still has that connection, which is kind of like if you're in a relationship and things are going south with you and your significant other, you hate each other, and but you still have that connection.
I think the greatest part about this movie is the desperate feeling you get. Like, when he's just about to really start turning into the monster, but he still holds some of his humanity. The most desperate part is when his face first starts changing, and he just starts rattling shit off like crazy. I definitely think that's like the part right there, like that really, like, his turn is where the movie really holds some gold.
So there you have it, folks. David Cronenberg's The Fly. I hope you enjoyed watching us review it as much as we enjoyed reviewing it for you.
Oh yeah. But that's just the first little bit of Halloweeny goodness we got for you this month. We got more movie reviews. We got a game review. We got a drunken playthrough a la Dean. So
stay tuned, folks, because there's more Halloween October movie review fun yet to come.
Cheers.
Hey.
Stay tuned.